Good afternoon. The Arts Council for Monterey County welcomes you to our monthly online segment, Artist Spotlight. My name is Karen Lee Garcia. I'm the programs director, and today I am so pleased to welcome Mural Hunter and public art enthusiast, Kat Morgan.
Hello.
Good to have you here.
It's great to be here.
So in 2020, Kat relocated to Monterey County, and as an art lover, one of the activities she sorely missed during the pandemic was visiting galleries and museums. So instead, she explored the county and noticed murals everywhere. And now a bona fide mural hunter has identified over 500 murals all across our county. So welcome again to our Artist Spotlight segment. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. I'm really excited and honored and flattered to be here and excited to be able to talk about the public art in our county. That's just awesome.
No, absolutely. So let's just get started. Tell us how you became involved with mural hunting and your interest in public art. I know that somehow you came on our radar and then just everyone started knowing like Kat Morgan and following your Instagram handle. So tell us how it all got started.
So I guess it was almost half a year before we moved here. My wife and I moved here in April of 2020. So right during the shelter in place, right at the beginning of the pandemic. And before we came, I came out to scout the place a couple times. We had been here before on vacation, but I didn't ever think about living here. And when I came, I thought, I want to see things and experience this place and what it has to offer that's unique. And somehow I found an interactive map of public art in Salinas, and it hadn't been updated in a while, but it had a lot of murals on it. So I made sure that while I was here, I drove through Salinas and looked for these murals. And it was just fabulous because a lot of the murals I found were from 1999, 2000, 2001, and part of the One Voice project. Mm-hmm. And so I thought, well, this county's had a commitment to murals and public art for decades. And it was just exciting, and it made me feel better about the move, because the move was, cross-country move during a pandemic. Yeah. And then when we got here, I was really struggling with, how do I engage with the community? What do I do? Or, sheltering in place. I only know a couple people. I can't go to museums. Like, what can I do? And luckily I live in Seaside, and just very close to our house, there are 8 or 10 murals on Broadway. And so it was really great to be able to just go a few blocks away and see public art.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like when did you decide to, take it from just your own personal interest to actually putting it out into the public, that this is something that you were looking into?
Well, I've had mixed experiences with social media, and I really like Instagram because I know there's a lot of legitimate criticism, but because it's so visual, and I take photographs, and I like looking at nature and birds, and I like to travel. And what I love about Instagram is I could follow people specifically with those things in mind, and I could see beautiful birds, and I could learn about the natural world. And I also started following artists. And because I knew there were murals here, I started following muralists and people who had posted, murals of LA or murals of San Francisco or some of the big mural festivals. They had Instagram feeds. So I thought, I'm going to do one that's like murals of Monterey County, because I was looking for murals in our county and I couldn't find a map. I couldn't find a resource where I could see them all. I found outdated things, but people told me there was a map of murals in Seaside and I could never find it online. So I thought, well, I guess I'm going to have to create it. And so I started posting pictures I took of the murals.
That's wonderful. And then there was another step that you started to take, because you went from Instagram and connecting and building this online community But then what made you take that, and we're going to share it with the audience and also share the link in the Facebook feed, to then creating your own map?
Well, once I started this process, I think I got to about 200 murals. I hadn't seen all of those murals because there were some in schools. There were a lot of murals in schools. There were some indoors, and during the shelter in place, I couldn't go to those places. But I started finding a lot of murals outdoors. I would find them online, and then I would go hunt for them. So I would have a list. I would go to Salinas, or I would go to Soledad, or I would go to Paso, and I have a list. And I started thinking, you know, when I travel, I like finding murals, and it's a lot easier if I don't know a place and I don't have lots of time to drive around and find murals. It's a lot easier if there's a map. So I thought I should try that. I should try to set something up. And so I started adding murals that I could confirm were there, because online you can see pictures of murals that no longer exist. And I've actually posted a few murals on my Instagram feed that no longer exist. But I wanted people to be able to experience this themselves and have a tool to make it easier. Plus, it made it easier for me, because then I had a map I could follow, because I remember many of the murals, but I don't remember every single one, nor do I remember where they all are. So I wanted to make it easy for people. And there's this growing thing, you know, mural tourism or public art tourism. And so I also thought this would be a way to contribute to the larger community and have people see murals that we have. So I started the map.
You started this map, and I thought that this was just amazing, because like you mentioned, you just see murals everywhere. So, and most time I'm the one driving, and there's a mural, and you know, you just forget like where, you know, which building it was on. So to know that there is an interactive map that you're still, you know, working on, it's just incredible. And when was the last time this map was updated?
Oh, so I updated it a short while ago to correct a couple things, but I've been preparing for the course I'm going to teach in November on the murals of Monterey County. So I've been focusing my energy on that, making sure I have the information I want to share, making sure I'm vetting what I'm saying, trying to find the names of artists and the dates, and trying to interview some of them. And so I haven't focused as much on adding to the map, but this only represents about half of the murals that I'm aware of. And they're color coded by city, just to make it a little easier. You can turn the filter off if you just want to look at, say, you just want to look at Sand City, which has over 40 murals now. And not all of those are on this, because the ones that were just created in August aren't yet on this. But if you wanted to look at all of it, you can, or just one city, you could. And the ones that are in white are indoors. And some of those are easier to see than others, because a school, obviously they're open now, but you have to have permission, and going when the kids aren't there, you know, you have to take a few extra steps to see the ones that are inside school grounds. And I think nobody wants people going with cameras and hanging out by schools taking pictures,
not without permission.
So I don't want to encourage too much of that. But there are ways to see murals in schools if you really want to contact the school. And then there are murals that are in restaurants, and more of those are open now. There are lots of murals in private homes, and those are not on my map, and I probably won't get to see most of those. But if you have a mural on your wall in your home and you want me to see it, I'd love to see it. And I won't necessarily post addresses. I don't post the names of artists or addresses unless I have permission. If someone tells me no, I'm not going to post that information.
Do you often have people sending you, DMing you and telling you there's a mural here or there?
Yeah. And I've built some connections with some of the local artists, and they let me know when something's coming up. I love being able to watch the creation of a mural. To me, that's one of the things that's really different and exciting about murals is, you know, in museums, most of the time it's rare to have an artist creating work in the museum while you're there. Most of the time you're seeing finished works of art. But with
Absolutely.
murals, you can actually see them in process. And actually
Mhm.
right now at Deja Blue off of Broadway and Seaside, there's an artist who is adding to a mural he created. And
Oh, nice.
if that this week he's going to be there. And so you may see him or not, but you'll see the stages over
Mhm.
time. And I find that incredibly inspiring and interesting. And just seeing a blank wall and then a mural in process and then a final mural is, you're watching creativity in action in real time.
And I love that. And I feel like most artists, for the most part, are super open to
Mhm.
conversations while they're working on their murals too. So it's a nice community moment
Mhm.
for you, and encouraging others to get out there and actually, like you said, hunt for murals,
Mhm.
mural
Yeah.
map, and also if they hear of any other murals that are being created, for them to interact.
Yeah. And please, if you know of anyone, if anyone who's listening to this or any artists know of any murals that that you don't see on the map or you want me to know about, please tell me.
Mhm.
And also if you know of one coming up, please let me know, because I also like documenting that part of the process.
Absolutely. I have one to share with you when we're offline.
Oh, awesome.
And what is the plan for, because I know the map is just in beta form right now.
Mhm.
Is there a plan to create an app? I want to see an app. Is there a
Well,
plan to see?
Well, I wouldn't say there's a plan, there's an idea.
Mhm.
Part of what I need to do is find a platform I find more user-friendly. There are some maps, like the Wide Open Walls Mural Festival in Sacramento has a map on their site. And I haven't used it on my phone, so I don't know how user-friendly it is when you're actually out walking around. But the one I used is on Google Maps, because that was the easiest. And I haven't found it to be very useful, even when I'm driving around trying to find a mural I've put on my map to locate,
Mm.
because it lags. So I'll be driving and the little dot showing where I am isn't moving. So I have to refresh it. And then I've passed the mural. And
Right.
so it's a little frustrating, and that's not the experience that I want anybody to have.
Mhm.
So I'm looking for a different platform that is more user-friendly on a mobile device. But I've seen a few apps that are trying to create a database of public art. And
Mhm.
the question is, when I have 500 entries, how much time would it take for me to add to an app that I then I don't want to say control, but what if something
Right.
happens to the app and I don't have any right to it and I don't have any
Right.
access? And what if it stops being updated? I want to have something where I can make sure that doesn't happen, so that if I create the map and I'm updating it, it doesn't disappear one day because the app is no longer being maintained.
Yeah, it sounds like you need an app developer and you're creating an app.
Yeah, if somebody out there is excited about app development and public art, I mean, I have no budget. I'm doing this completely out of, it's a passion project for me.
Mhm.
I'm spending the money on the gas driving around, and luckily Instagram is a free platform. But it would be really helpful to have also good advice about which apps are, or which platforms are mobile friendly and really useful for putting just a pin, it's like, this is the location, this is the name of the artist, maybe a little image of the mural as well. That isn't one that's incredibly time intensive.
Right, right. I do appreciate the additional information that you share on the map, on the artist, and a little bit about the location. And
Mhm.
our audience to actually, now we're going to move into the images, the photos that you've captured, to actually see what you have been enjoying across the peninsula. I'm sorry, across the county,
Yeah, I was going to say the whole county.
the whole county.
Yeah, it's great. I think there are murals, I think, in almost every single town in our county, as far as I know.
Mhm.
So this first one, some people in the county may recognize it. It's on the NOAA building in PG, and it is one of the few murals that wraps the entire building. This is a band at the top. I think there are, how many? 30 something panels. They're 6 by 8 foot panels that were painted in a studio and then painted in San Diego actually, and then brought and installed. But they're fabric, so they were adhered to the building. And this is one of the things I find really interesting is murals are created in lots of different ways. And this one was created elsewhere and then brought, but it's affixed to the building. It's not a separate thing that could be removed.
Okay.
So the problem right now is this building is not being used, it's vacant, and there's a local effort to try to create a museum there that would be a museum of science and art, which would be fabulous. And part of why it would be fabulous is then people could see this mural, because right now 2 sides are more visible, but it's behind a chain link fence and you can't go on the grounds. But the artist is Ray Troll, and he worked with Robert Salas and a guy who goes by Memo, whose name is Guillermo Hodiga, I think is how you pronounce his name, might be Hodiga. But the 3 of them worked together and created this really awesome mural that depicts the natural world.
No, it's really lovely. It's really, really nice.
Yeah, these are only 4 of the panels.
And this one is more visible, you're saying, than the other.
2 of the sides are, and so this is from one of the sides that's a little more visible. It's better if you have either binoculars or a long lens to see it, but you can see it from whatever the name of that road is behind the building as you're coming off of Ocean View Boulevard.
That's wonderful. Ah, this famous one.
Yeah, so there are a couple of world famous artists who've created murals in our county, and this is one of them. This is by Mr. Brainwash, and there are actually 2 murals by Mr. Brainwash in Carmel. And they're both a little hidden. This one is in a courtyard of, I think it's the Cypress Inn.
Right.
And there's another one of Albert Einstein that's on the outside brick chimney of, I think it's the Forest Inn or Forest Lodge. That one's sort of behind some trees, so you have to really go close to see it. And Mr. Brainwash, people may be familiar with him from the documentary Exit Through the Gift Shop. He was featured in that. He was a filmmaker, sort of, who was going to make a documentary about Banksy and Shepard Fairey, and he ended up becoming a muralist himself. And so this is one of his creations.
And what? Okay, maybe we have to take the course to learn why he chose this area. We won't get into that. We'll talk about the course and why people need to sign up to learn more.
Yeah. Well, and often what happens with muralists is there's someone who owns the wall who wants a piece of work, and they may know an artist already, or they may put out a call. I know there's actually I think it's a sports bar in Monterey right now that's looking for muralists to create a mural. I think you guys posted that.
Right.
And so sometimes it's a more open call. Sometimes it's they know someone, or someone says, hey, I'd paint a mural there. Some muralists are hired, some do the work because it's a gift to the community, and maybe the materials are covered. And also, if they're artists who are working artists, this is a way to get their name and their work out there, so people turn to them when they want to find art as gifts or art for their own homes. Absolutely.
The best advertisement of their work.
Yeah, although not every mural is signed. And so sometimes I find murals, I don't know who painted them. I ask, people don't know. There's actually a small mural of a pelican in the PG Museum of Natural History. And when I asked there, they don't know the name of the artist who created it.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was about 12 something years ago. And the problem is, continuity. If nobody documented it, if the artist didn't sign it, it's hard to find out.
Yeah, just asking around in the community and hoping you can find out who is the muralist.
So I included this. I don't have the names with me, but in the course I will. This was created, this is part of a mural that was created by students at Seaside High School. And part of why I wanted to share this image is because it was created by students, and lots of students and young people are involved in creating murals as group projects, as giving back to the community, and as apprenticeships, learning how to create art and expressing themselves. And what I really like about often murals will share the story of the community, their place, their site specific. They talk about what's happening here and now, what concerns them. So they're talking about the people, the history, the natural world. And so this obviously is, it's very upsetting. It's a forest fire depiction. And it's one of the things I think, lots of young people are very aware of the climate crisis and are hoping those of us with decision-making authority will make the right decisions. But this is a reality for them. They've all grown up in the age of the drought and forest fires. And so I wanted to share this because I think it represents a bunch of different things that murals can do.
Exactly. No, I agree. And this is an exterior wall.
Yeah. So I actually saw this one last year when I volunteered for the organization that was doing response to the fires. And they were based because the schools were closed, they were based at Seaside High. And so when I was driving up, per usual, I saw a mural on the wall. And so I went over and looked at it, and it was really moved by this image in particular, because we were dealing with the ash falling in our yard and the orange sky and the smoke, and people were evacuated, just up the canyon from here. So I think it's a really good representation of what murals can do.
Absolutely.
So this is an interesting mural for a lot of reasons. This is by John Cerny, who's based in Salinas. He's well known here, but also well known all over the country. And his style is pretty unique. He does these cutouts, and they're much larger than life. And he creates them in his studio, and then he transports them, sometimes very far away. And he usually is portraying people, depicting someone who's got some importance. And this was a piece he did to pay respect to the agricultural workers who really, built this county and really contribute in a way that often isn't appreciated. And these are so large. When you go to them, they're at the farm. I think is it off Reservation Road?
It's off
or 68.
It's off. Oh, it's not Reservation. It's another road. Right now I'm blanking, but yes, it's at the very end.
Yeah. And there are several others right near here, but I particularly like these because, you get that silhouette effect, and on the front they're painted, and on the back you can see the scaffolding essentially holding it up. So even though they're not 3D, they are. Right. And when I talk to him, he doesn't always just identify as a muralist, because what he's doing is unique. It's not attached to a wall. So I also wanted to include this one because it expands the definition of mural. And I think it makes us think about, well, what is a mural? I mean, it's certainly public art, but does a mural need a wall?
Right. I love that question.
Oh, so this one, and I think the next two, maybe the next one, are from the Watershed Institute building. It's another building that's no longer occupied. It's on the Cal State campus. And it's another mural that wraps the entire building. And one of the things I love about this mural, besides I just think it's exquisite and beautiful and interesting, and you can see the creatures and the acorn are much larger than life. So it's putting us as the viewer in perspective. We're part of something much larger than ourselves. And I particularly love the acorn one because you can see how the window, which muralists have to do this all the time, work with the structure of the building, work with the doors, the windows, the surfaces, the trees that are in front of them. And I think this one, the window interrupts the acorn, but not really, because this is inviting us to look. And that's what windows are about, looking out or looking in. And so I particularly love this one. And it's also sad because the building may be condemned and demolished. So we may only have a limited amount of time. I mean, it's likely we only have a limited amount of time to see and appreciate this mural. So I would encourage anyone who hasn't seen it to check it out. It's the Watershed Institute.
Right. And you can't miss it because you see it right when you turn down that road.
Yeah. And murals that wrap buildings are also really wonderful. They're circular. There's not a beginning and an end to it necessarily. And in this case, it's wrapping a building, you know, it's the built environment, it's wrapping it in images of the natural environment. And that's true for us as humans. We live in often the built environment, but we're surrounded always by the natural world, and often we're encroaching upon it. So I really appreciate all the messages this one can share with us. So this one is at the MLK School of the Arts, also quite close to where I am on Broadway in Seaside. And this is by Jose Ortiz and the Hijos del Sol organization. And he designed this one in consultation with the staff and students. You have MLK and Rosa Parks depicted. And the students there, and he actually, you can't tell exactly in this picture, but the young people who are next to the portraits are depictions of both of those heroes as children. So
Right.
and this is one of the things he does in his work, is really celebrate youth and the continuity of time. And his murals are often very spiritual, inspirational, and he plays with motion and the location of people and how they're interacting with each other and with the natural world in ways that are, I think, really unique. Plus, it's just incredibly beautiful. And you can see it's a very large mural. This picture doesn't do it justice in terms of capturing the scale.
No, and you can see this as soon as you're driving up Broadway heading towards General Jim Moore, and it is expansive, and it's just beautiful.
Yes.
And the colors are very vibrant. It's gorgeous mural.
And the mural continues on the wall to the right. And there's depictions of young people using technology. And I believe that's also where the Black Panther is on the mural. And what's wonderful when I toured the school is the Black Panther is the mascot of this school, which it's so appropriate. Traditionally, Seaside has a large African-American community as well as currently, and the school serves primarily African-American kids. And so having the Black Panther as the mascot is just such a great way to celebrate power and to celebrate the strength of the community. And he consulted again with the school to make sure that what he was doing was reflecting the values of that school and the people who are part of the school community. Right. And that's one of the things I really love about his work.
And as you know, his work is it's everywhere. It's
all over the county. And I feel like he should be one of the muralists who is best known in our county. One of the muralists at the Sand City Mural Festival in August referred to him as the OG.
It's true. He is. He's usually first on the list for whenever anyone is asking about a mural project. So, and then it just comes down to his time, if he's available. So
yeah, and he uses brushwork mostly, so it takes a much longer time as well.
Right. Well, here's another.
This is a close-up of part of one of his murals that's at, I think, Seaside Middle School. Again, I love that I'm so close to these murals. But if you live other parts of the county, you are too. So you don't just have to come to Seaside or Sand City. But this one, again, I think really represents the spiritual aspect of a lot of his murals and the way he captures history and time and culture in his murals. And it's just, as you can see, the integration of human and natural world is really a strong part. And that swirl in the middle captures motion, and it's just so wonderful.
Amazing.
So this is, I mentioned earlier, the One Voice Project, which was from 1999 to about 2001. And this is a close-up of a mural done by and that was a youth employment project the county supported. This is a close-up from one of their murals that's in Soledad. And those murals often tell the story, the history of the people who lived in that place, the original people, as well as people who then settled and shaped the community, the agriculture, the economy. And this one is from a mural that celebrates the Chinese Americans, the earliest Chinese settlers in the community. And it's an incredibly beautiful mural. Some of the One Voice murals, because of their age, they're exposed to sun and the marine environment. Some of them are starting to have peeling paint. flaking paint. And so I would love to see someone come and give these little TLC.
Absolutely. I know you're working on it, trying to figure out how to, figure out the origin story of that particular project. Also be nice to refurbish a lot of those murals.
Yeah. And I know there are folks in the area who do mural restoration, but of course that, they're in business. People need to make a living. Artists need to be paid. So funders and donors and customers are needed to make some of this happen.
So it's a good opportunity for a donor to step forward.
Yeah.
To support those murals.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, so this is one of the external murals at Fort Ord and some of the abandoned barracks. There's a artist and professor at Cal State who's documented the Fort Ord murals. She found over 500 of them with her students. There's an interview with her that's going to be part of the class I'm teaching. And this one is from, let me think, the 9th Infantry Regiment Distinctive Unit, and that's their insignia. And one of the things about this mural is it's visible from outside. At least I believe it still is. I don't think they've demolished that particular barracks yet. But there were so many murals inside, and you safely can't go into those buildings. Some of them have been demolished. Some of them have asbestos in them, so I would encourage people not to go into them. But there are a few outside. And the other thing that's outside wrapping some of these buildings is beautiful graffiti. Some of the graffiti is tags, and some of it's people's practicing with spray paint, goofing around. And some of it's much more serious, where the tags are really exceptional, and the coloring and the shape and the design, it's a work of art. So if someone's going around that area and they, just pay attention to what you see, you'll notice some murals.
Yeah, and this one was, where was it in the Fort Ord area?
I believe it's on the seaside side. I have the exact location. I think this one's on the map, and I believe it's on the seaside part of the barracks. And it's facing inland. It's on when you drive around, you'll see it with the ocean. So it's on the west side of east side of a building facing. Oh, so the La Neta crew, the Mural Crew, are 5 artists who work independently and work as a team to create murals. And they're based here in our county. This is part of the mural they created as part of the Sand City Mural Festival in August. And they're going to be, I'm so excited. They're going to be a panel. There's going to be a panel with all of them in the course that I'm teaching on the 3rd of the 3 days. They'll be there. And part of why I wanted to include them is because I think what they're doing is just fabulous. And it's truly a team effort when you watch them work together. There's not, sometimes when muralists work together, this is my part, this is your part, which is, I'm not criticizing at all. But it isn't an integrated whole necessarily. And one of the things that I love about what they do is it is an integrated whole. And when they're executing it, they're talking, they're learning from one another. They each have different skills and interests. And this mural had 3 different surfaces to work with. You can see that the door, the tall door is ridged. The wall was one surface, and then there was another door with a different surface. And they were doing it all during, the August in the sunshine, and that's one of the things about murals. When you're focused, you're seeing your piece, but you have to pay attention to the whole. Right. And it was just a pleasure to watch them work that week and to get to know all of them. And I really want people to know about their work and watch for it.
Oh, that's wonderful. And I do like that they collaborate together. Like you said, that's pretty unique in this community for this a mural team.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
I think this is another. We have one more.
Okay, so this one is a detail of a mural that's on actually a pet food store, feed store in Salinas. And this one is done by Mr. Dongsun Kim, who goes by Mr. Kim. People refer to him as Mr. Kim. And he, at a point in the past, he worked with John Cerny. they work independently now. He's done recently a couple murals that are at, I think it's Mark's Auto Body in Sand City. So you can see he's one of the artists who's done those. But this is a detail which I just thought was just exquisite, because
Gorgeous.
yeah, if you see the scale of it, it's much larger, but the detail in it is just fantastic. And the color and the dimensionality, you know, it has that 3D effect.
I know, it almost looks like it's floating off of the
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
amazing.
It's just one of my favorites of his work. So this is a mural in Salinas by an artist who goes by Basic Lee. So you can follow him on Instagram. And it's on a very large wall. It was dedicated. And part of why I wanted to include this one is besides that I love it, is because there are often murals that are dedicated, and there's a gathering in the community at the location to celebrate that mural, and the muralist is hired and commissioned to do the work. So I wanted to just make sure people understand the process of how public art is created and how it's a partnership, that even if one person's painting it, there are other people involved. You know,
Right.
organizations like yours, donors, people who own the wall, people who are decision makers about zoning and public art, and also how to beautify our public spaces like parks like this one.
Right. A real collaborative effort, especially if there's multiple parties involved.
Yeah.
I need to go and see this in person. It's amazing. I just love seeing the scuba diver at the bottom.
No, and I think there's another little image on the side of it. And so the last images, so these are two of the people who are responsible for the We Create Art, the Mural Festival in Sand City that happened for the first time in September of 2020, and then just happened again in August of 2021. So this is Pat Milbury, who is a muralist, and Hunter Stevens, who was the project manager during the festival. And they're based in Colorado and were brought in by Aaron, who's the city manager of Sand City, with the support of the art, the Sand City Art Committee, which is part of the city government. And then they wanted to create a mural festival. They wanted to have murals be one of the features of Sand City. So last year they created, was it 11 murals? This year they created more. So they, in just over a year, they've doubled the number of murals in Sand City, and they're fabulous murals. There's such a variety and a range of styles, surfaces. As you can see, again, this mural has a couple different surfaces, and how artists manage 3D surfaces to create an image that holds together and works is really impressive and great to watch.
That's amazing. And that festival is just, I enjoyed it during the pandemic because it was like one of the things we were able to actually go and do and enjoy and watch artists create. And I just love how Sand City has turned into the city of murals. So
yeah. And they're doing a great job, I think, raising the bar and showing other cities what they could do. They're investing public funds in murals.
Right.
They're giving artists employment and expression. And the murals vary quite a lot in terms of what they depict and the style. And it's really great. So if anybody wants to see a bunch of murals in a shorter period of time, go to Sand City and just take a walk. They have a map on their site of their murals, so you can find them, but you don't even need a map. You just walk around and you'll see them. And it centers around the Sand City Art Park. And I believe you guys were involved in creating the mural that's on the ground. Yeah. And that mural was created by, was it Brian Gage and Paul Goodman?
Paul Richmond.
Paul Richmond
And Brian Gage, yeah.
Yeah, and they created that mural, and it was launched, or there was a grand opening, or whatever you call it.
Right before the We Festival and the Weston Festival took place.
Yeah.
So let's transition quickly because we're running out of time. Just to talk a little bit about your course that's coming up, and then we'll obviously share the link of how people can sign up. As our audience can tell, there's just so much to learn and share the murals here in the county.
So I'm going to be teaching a course through OLLI, which is the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, which is affiliated with Cal State UMB. And there are OLLI programs all over the country affiliated with universities and colleges. And I'm going to be teaching, it's a 3-session course over 3 weeks. And I'm going to include images, information about where to find murals, what the history of murals in our county is, going back pretty far. And I'm going to share an interview with Enid Baxter Rice, who is an artist who's done the documentation at Fort Ord. And also Jose Ortiz will be a guest, and then the Lanita crew will also be panelists. So we're going to hear from artists and also look at a lot of images. I'm going to encourage people to go mural hunting during the course or before even, and really try to help people leave with a sense of appreciation for what murals look like, how they're created, and what they do, what they offer to communities. They
What's the first day?
art.
What's the first day of the first class?
It's the first week of November, and I should have written down the dates, but I think it's in the afternoon.
Wednesdays.
OLLI programs tend to be geared towards folks who are 50 plus. So a lot of the classes are during the day, but they're not closed. So there is a small fee for the course, but it is open. I did it online, so we didn't have to cap the attendance, but also I was concerned about COVID.
Right.
And it won't be recorded, but it's all on Zoom, and I'm super excited about it.
And we, like I mentioned, we'll share the link with just a little bit more information on the day, week, and everything in our Facebook feed. And so besides your class, what's next? Kind of what's the next step for you?
So I have a vision for having a mural festival or a mural project in our county that is tied to the Seawalls initiative. And the Seawalls Mural Festival has been done all over the world in coastal cities and coastal areas. And the murals are all about what they call artivism. So they're murals that celebrate the oceans and the seas and also promote protection of the oceans and the seas. So they just did one in September in Santa Cruz, and there were over 15 murals created all in the same week. The murals talked about pollution in the oceans. They talked about acidification. They depicted creatures we need to protect. And they had artists from all over the world, all over the country, local artists as well. And their goal is to use public art as a way to promote action. And one of their slogans is protect what you love. So they're not just interested, although this is worthy as well, in creating public art and improving the community through beautification and art outside that's accessible. They're also really interested in making a difference when it comes to the climate crisis, particularly with the oceans. So I think given our county, given where we are by the Monterey Bay, given the threat to the oceans that we know about, and given that there are organizations and people here working already to try to make a difference and try to protect the seas, I think this is a perfect place for something like that.
I definitely agree with you. And, please stay in touch, with us and let us know how we can, be of help. But I know you have yours, your tentacles involved in so many different communities now. And so just appreciate you so much, and look forward to the course and also, seeing your vision come to life.
Thank you. I want to make a plug. I want folks to support the Arts Council for Monterey County, because y'all are supporting murals and public art and artists and youth who are engaged with the arts. And it's so important for people. I mean, you're profiling me. I'm not an artist, but you're profiling me because of the work I'm doing to support artists and advocate for the arts. And that's what y'all do. And I really think it's important that people support nonprofits like yours.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate all the additional support and plugs for our organization. And we can find you online. You're at Public Art Lover, at Murals of Monterey County, and then you have your personal at KM13, and all of that will be in the Facebook feed. And I want to thank you so much for joining us today. I just appreciate you. And I know I'll be seeing you around very soon. And stay tuned for another artist spotlight for next month. And please be sure to comment and share this artist spotlight. Learn more about the Arts Council for Monterey County. Visit us at www.artsfornc.org. Have a wonderful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.